folk that's going to pick you up. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I need to be around some folk that's going to pick me up. Now on Monday, telling you a story that they should have on TV on Wednesday. You ever been around these exaggerating folk that can make you think that the sun is sitting outside in the parking lot and that they got 5 Bentleys at home, 2 houses, a partridge and a pear tree? I wish somebody help me in here. And after exaggeration comes, God, I feel you in this place. Can we recap real quick? I want to tell you that you have to understand that exhaustion will bring complaining, and that complaining will bring exaggeration, but after exaggeration comes blaming. I wish somebody help me here. This is your fault. Some of y'all want to put this on somebody else. It's not because of me, but it was because of the way I was brought up. But it's not the way I was brought up, it's the way that I turned out. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, it's not the way that I was brought up, but it's the finished product that counts. God, I feel you in this place. Some people say that it's God's fault, and if it had been here at the time, it wouldn't have happened like this. And some of y'all other folks say that, yeah, I know that he should have been there, but you're not just having a moment because of all of this. You're staying in a moment. Tell somebody, don't stay in the moment. I think many of us are living in a moment that I believe God intended for us to pass by. I need somebody to hear this. Sometimes that the moment that you're in is supposed to pass by. Tell somebody, move out the way. That's what you gotta tell them. Tell them, move out the way. The moment that I'm going through is supposed to move out the way. It's just a storm, and the storm is supposed to pass over. I wasn't supposed to be here all this time, but since God has me here, I'm not gonna get stuck in it, because sometimes we are exhausted, still with withdrawals, we're still complaining, we're still exaggerating, we're still blaming, and for that we are in a moment. Tell somebody, that's a moment. And you complain so much, tell somebody, and you complain so much that your worship means nothing. God, I feel you. Your prayers mean nothing. No, God, I feel your praise means nothing. And you're saying that I'm in the presence and the magnified most high God, and I cannot take a simple direction from a parking attendant. Y'all ain't here, Pastor, ain't here. And I feel like that I'm on 495. Can I talk to some of y'all folk that call y'all self-Christians? Can I talk to some sanctified folk in here this morning? Can tell the enemy that I am a sanctified Christian of the most high and everlasting God. I need y'all to say that I'm a sanctified Christian of the most high and everlasting God. God, I feel you in this place. And when you're driving down 495 and somebody cuts you over, I've seen a lot of birds flying and they're not doves. I need some folk in here that can help me say, yeah. God, I feel you in this place. Some of us are guilty of that because we will say that we're sanctified folk, but we're still struggling with the world. But back to the text. When a day becomes a week, and a week becomes a month, and a month becomes a lifetime, and when all that you look at is getting locked into a moment, and why is this happening? Because I feel like this and it should be happening, and we have bad moments because we now tapped into our emotions, and we call our emotions facts. Can I go a little deeper with that there? We tap into our emotions because we call our emotions fact. Come on, somebody help me right there. Tell somebody we tap into our emotions because we feel that that's the truth. I wish somebody help me. Tell somebody it's just your imagination running away with you. God, I feel you in this place. We think that our feelings are accurate and never distorted. We're not knowing that our minds and our bodies will tell us things that are not true. Tell somebody, ever tell you that? I'm going somewhere. But watch this. I got to get back to this 1 Kings 4 verse. 1 Kings 19 chapter 4 verse. But he himself went on a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under the broom tree, and he prayed and he might die, feeling an inaccurate barometer and realization of reality that he distorted in his mind. And you can have the feelings of this, and he started his comparing. A lot of us will get to the place that we'll start to compare things. A lot of us will get to the place we'll think about where we came from and how bad it is now. Somebody say, yeah, that sounds like me, Pastor. That sounds like me. And watch this. You're comparing yourself to justify somebody else's moment. Y'all ain't hear me. Y'all ain't hear me. You're comparing yourself to justify somebody else's moment. I'm going to preach this in a minute. He says, I'm no better than my fathers. His problem is comparison. Y'all ain't hear me. Listen to his problems. My problem, I'm no better than my fathers. His problem is comparison. Say comparison. And when you do this, you always compare your worst moment to somebody else's best moment. Y'all ain't hear me in this place. We're playing tricks on ourselves. Somebody tell them we're playing tricks on ourselves. We will judge our best moment to somebody else's worst moment. I wish somebody help me out. It's always an extreme. And there is Elijah, and he needed to exhale because Elijah is having a problem, and he's having a moment, and he's living under what is called an unrealistic expectation. Tell somebody an unrealistic expectation. Y'all have to hear this. See, I'm trying to feel something in this place right now. But some folk are trying to fulfill an unrealistic expectation. I'm trying to feel something that even God didn't expect me to feel. I wish somebody helped me. So I put all of this weight and pressures on myself. Sometimes you ought to pat yourself on the back and figure if God took 6 days to create the earth and he only did one good thing a day, I'm going to count the one good thing I did today and keep the other ones and keep it moving. Y'all got to hear this in here. See, what happens is you're trying to do more than God did in 6 days. But you got to just think if you get one good deed for the day, you're doing good. Tell somebody one a day, one a day. I feel it. But then, man, and I didn't fix everything in one day. God didn't do it all in one day either. And so you shouldn't feel mad, or you shouldn't beat yourself up, or you shouldn't pull yourself down because you didn't make it all happen in one day. Tell somebody in one day. So sometimes you need to look at yourself and say, I'm doing pretty good. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, you're doing pretty good. Look at somebody else, tell them you're doing pretty good. Because you got up this morning, you're doing pretty good. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. I'm comparing myself to myself. Y'all ain't hear me. Somebody's going to lose it in here in a minute. And I'm not comparing myself to nobody else, but I'm comparing myself to myself. Y'all got to say that to you. I'm not comparing myself to nobody else. I'm just comparing myself to myself. And 6 months ago, I remember where I was. Somebody got to help me in this place. Somebody can say, 6 months ago, I remember where I was. And 6 months later, I'm not where I used to be. I wish somebody help me in this place. That means I'm moving into change. And if I look like where I came from, you wouldn't believe me. But 6 months ago, I was strung out. But God turned me around and washed me up. 6 months ago, I was sleeping in a car. But God gave me an apartment that I could put over my head. 6 months ago, I was hungry, living downtown. But God gave me shelter. I need somebody to feel it. So that was 6 months ago. Somebody needs to celebrate about your 6 months. I don't know what you're going through or where you're coming from, but you need to just put your hands together real good and celebrate God about your 6 months. See, we wait to celebrate once a year, but I think you need to break it up and celebrate 6 months. If you've been waiting for a 6-month period, you should give God some